back running. Please bear with. Please bear with.
Over and go backpacking in Northern Europe.
Are we back?
Yes, you are back. I am working on getting everything back in hunky dory. I think everything is in the correct place. Zoom chat isn't back for me. Chat isn't back for me yet, but
We've got chat. We're all good.
we're
They
back.
can see us.
We're back.
They can see
Chatbot
us.
is still down, but you guys are live. I do apologize. The last thing I heard before everything dropped was the conversation between Marcus and her father. You sort of like cut off halfway through. Sorry everyone. I'll make myself scarce. Stream chat. Have a great time. See you in a bit. Bye.
Bless his heart.
Is that the gods? But yes, the father stands by Marcus, and you want to leave. You want to just leave.
Well, it's not that I want to leave, but I think it would be a good idea. And I think I'd learn a lot and maybe become stronger like you want me to.
Leaving with who?
Oh, just a few other students.
And you see him raise this eyebrow, like, and he sort of walks behind the chair and stands in front of you. He's not that much taller than you, but so you were foolish enough to talk to a merchant, to talk to someone, to tell them who you were, to tell them who I am. Do you know how much that could have affected my position?
A lot.
Yes. Now, I think you should go to bed. And first thing tomorrow, you're going to study. And you're going to study at home. You're not going anywhere. And he sits back down. Oh. Do you have a description or a name for the person who did this?
I forget what he looks like.
You can make it up, it's fine.
Oh, yeah, actually, it was this kind of...
What stall did he run? And he sort of sees the new brooch on your side. Did he give you this?
Yes. He was a newer merchant. I don't see him very often. He had lots of things like this.
Okay. Go.
Good night, Father. And he kind of just shuffles out of the room.
Sort of leave this role. Also, thank you for the sub, Wiley Hobbit. Hello again.
Thank you.
And you walk out of this room and you hear your father call someone in. You know who this is. This is one of the guards to your house, and he gives the description of the man, who then leaves the house again. And you can head back to your room. Do you go straight to sleep, or?
Marcus probably won't be able to sleep right away just because he's like...
A lot's happened today.
Yeah, jittering. But he's also not totally sure if he could possibly like wiggle out past like the guards that are probably in full force now that he's given a description. And he's just kind of like thinking about how he's going to make this happen. Like, it's fated, you know? So he'll lay there for a little bit, but probably eventually fall asleep.
Morning comes round. You can hear the street starting to buzz again. It's You can hear all of the seagulls starting to wake up as the early morning fishermen start pulling in their boats or heading out. It is dawn. Do you all meet at Hestia's? Well, I know 2 of you already there.
Cosima probably arrives like literally as dawn is beginning. She's used to being up early. She's used to actually being down on the beach by now and probably sorting out the boat and getting ready to move out. And she pauses outside the door and takes in the sight of the sun rising. Maybe she can see from here a tiny bit the sea and see that reflection and the light as it begins to twinkle and kind of stain the world. And then she'll kind of just knock on the
door. You might notice that I'm still lying next
Yeah,
to the door.
There's like a pile of what could be an animal by the door. You're not too sure.
I think because it's still fairly dark, she hasn't noticed. And it could just be like a like she imagines it could just be like a pile of dirty laundry or, you know, just whatever has been left. She hadn't paid that much attention to Hestia's entryway when she was carrying in the body, so she just kind of knocks on the door, not noticing Zyraxes is down there.
Hestia opens the door, looks directly at Cosima, and then looks down and goes, "Will you wake them?"
All right.
She kind of like gestures at Zyraxes.
And Cosima goes initially to kind of kick them with her shoe. Like just more like a nudge. A kick is a bit unfair. It's more like a nudge.
There's no run up here.
Yeah. Pretty straight off. But then stoops down and places a hand gently on what she thinks is their shoulder. That is what she's aiming for. She hopes it's a shoulder.
Again, there's a moment just after the touch happens where it's like, this is fine, everything's fine, and then just flies about 3 feet away. Just like, just sheer power of no touchy. And they're kind of like crouched with these 2 like furs just like kind of wonky around them, just kind of like hair like down, they kind of twitching, and then they see Cosima and Hestia and kind of like,
Good morning.
oh, that was real. Morning time.
I had a similar feeling when I woke up.
And they kind of get to their feet and unfold their ridiculous height and kind of shake off the rest of the sleep and just peer at them both.
Are you hungry?
Always. I'll eat. I can catch a bird, I think. I had
Well,
bread.
I've got fish that you don't have to catch.
Have you cooked it?
Not yet.
Okay. And just walks it out.
And then you see, as you walk in, Hestia has clearly set aside and prepared and is starting to cook some fish. But then there's clearly another like plate that is left raw, and she kind of like inches the plate and she's like, how do you like it?
So I actually sort of like just grab the fish and kind of lift it up and then look at them both and scuttle off into a corner and like just like crouch with their back to the room and these furs just kind of obscuring them, and you just hear sounds. I'm not going to make them, it wouldn't be pleasant. You just hear sounds and hissing because the snakes get a share.
And then just trying to kind of ignore the sounds, Hestia is like to Cosima, she's like, do you want some salt on yours?
Wait, is this like still raw fish? Just
Like, we're gonna cook it. I was just prepping it.
yes, some salt and herbs.
And then
And she'll go into her bag and she's brought like basically whatever food she had in the house. Just has brought it as her kind of contribution to supplies. And she'll gift Hestia the herbs that she has, the dried and the few fresh.
Those will go lovely with the fish. And then she's like, you can add the rest of the stuff to the pile. And she gestures toward the table where you see like these big brown sacks of all of the food that she collected.
You have been busy.
I stopped by the market on the way home and I didn't know what to get them. And she kind of like glances back, but I think what I got works.
I believe they'll eat probably just about anything you put in front of them. As for my part, I may have an option for our journey. There is a man at port by the name of Obion who has a ship that we may be able to rent, to borrow. Although I have been warned he prefers his payment in labor and not gold. Or money, I guess. Gold seems like a lot.
I don't know.
And she'll glance over at Zyraxes, wondering if this is going to be a total pain in the ass to sort out.
Well,
And you also look around, you don't see Marcus. Where is
the young-
Marcus?
Is he coming?
I didn't pass him on my way. But it's still early.
Marcus, what are you doing? It is dawn. It's just before dawn for you. And you can hear the seagulls and you can hear people starting to move around. You can hear your father snoring away in the room, not too far down the hallway. And you can hear some of the servants starting to clink and clang in the kitchen.
Mark, how high is his room off the ground?
It's only 2 stories. So
Only
your
2
house overall is 2 stories. But they're quite low to the ground. They're not.
Okay.
It's not like, yeah.
Marcus is actually, since he can still hear his dad snoring, he is going to grab, I don't know, maybe a couple geography and history books that he think might be helpful and like some clothes and shove them in a pack and do his best to just like climb out the window.
Yeah, how are you climbing out the window? Are you just literally climbing down or?
He would probably, well, first he'd look out and see if there's like any like guards patrolling immediately below his window or anything. Like, is it just totally empty down
This
there?
seems to be just, it's almost like a garden that's around. No like fences, you're not fenced in or anything, but this, you know, is a garden. There's,
Okay.
you can see one servant tending to the garden, trying to get some herbs for the morning, but that's about it.
Okay. In that case, he's going to kind of lean forward with his like bag in his hand and kind of like try to, as softly as he can, let it drop to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Then kind of climb out afterwards, but as soon as he feels comfortable jumping, he's going to like duck and roll.
Could you
Parkour.
roll me a strength of 4, please? Because
Oh my god.
are you? You're going to be like,
Yeah.
this window. So
This is gonna go bad, but it's okay.
And with that, Marcus
Yeah,
breaks both his legs.
You chuck this like bag down, and you see it land in a bush, run over fine, and you ease yourself out of this like window, and you suddenly think that's a lot higher than I thought. It's not that high, but that sudden realization that you need to climb down a level and then jump. Holding your weight, you feel your arms shaking a little bit, and as you take that first movement, you feel your hands slip, and you grab frantically, and you crash into this bush. And this servant in the garden immediately looks round. You can't be seen right now. You're in a bush. You hear like a hello, hello, and this servant starts walking over towards this bush. You're not hurt. It's not that far.
Okay.
You might be like, ow, like might more have been like a thump, but not an actual like a break anything. Or...
Marcus is going to kind of like he's going to kind of back up out of the bush and get his bearings a little and stand up, and he's going to say,
Sir, and they sort of bow quickly.
Yeah, I apologize for that. I dropped something out my window and decided to come get it.
And he looked at this servant, just looks up, like, out that window?
Yeah, it should be around here somewhere, but I'm fine, so I don't need any assistance.
Would you like me to notify your father? Are you okay?
That will not be necessary, but thank you.
I will continue with breakfast then. And they sort of nod. Give you a sort of a weird sideward glance, like, this kid is weird. Like, and just sort of take the stuff with them in this small, almost like cradle-like basket back in through the back sort of kitchen area.
Marcus is going to like dive for wherever the bag went and grab it and just book it as soon as the servant is out of earshot.
Yeah, you can sprint. You sprint up this street. You sprint all the way through to the market square and up down that same road you know that leads towards Hestia's.
Yep. So he's going to run all the way there and probably show up to them eating. Are you guys inside eating? Or okay. Run up panting and like knock on the door real quick.
Hestia opens the door and sees you kind of like huffing and puffing. And she just kind of goes and like pulls a twig out of your hair and it's like, busy?
My dad wasn't very happy with the idea of me leaving, but I found a way. Unfortunately, that means I didn't bring much stuff for you guys, so I'm sorry, but I got here.
Well, we have fish, both raw and cooked, if either interests you.
More noises.
I think I would prefer the cooked. Thank you very much.
Okay. She like ushers you in and she's like, Xeraxes, and she points to the corner and then is enjoying their meal. And you can come this way and grab a plate.
And all of you can sit down and eat and enjoy this morning. It takes maybe, you're probably only about 30 minutes until you realize the sun is really coming up. And Marcus, if anything, you will be aware that in the next hour or so, maybe half an hour, you're going to be called upon for breakfast.
Yes, so guys, when would be a good time to leave? Because I think for me it would be soon.
And Hestia's got like the fork or whatever they use up to her mouth and she's like, now?
Not right now, but within the next hour or so, soonish. The problem is that my dad's kind of important, and he told me to stay home. And if he finds out that I'm with people and intending to leave when I wasn't supposed to, that might end up bad for everyone involved.
We should make our way to Port early anyway. Business keeps people busy by mid-morning. It's always better to arrive early.
Xeraxes will kind of unfold from their squat in the corner and turn round, and it's a mess. There's like this little sad little pile of fish bones like left in the corner. It's not great. It's also looked like it's been like stacked, like one of those kids games where you have to like balance stuff, like tumbling monkeys. It's been stacked in a morbidly fascinating way, and they just turn around and look at everyone and go, "We leave now. We have to stop it. We leave now. Everything can wait. We leave." And like starts walking for the door.
Cosima, on seeing this, has that moment of, yep, this is what we're doing. I'm helping a boy escape his father, a crazy person seek the gods, and Hestia's nice.
Oh, there's a moment like just before Xeraxes reaches the door, and they wheel around and walk like right back over to Hestia and look at them and go, "You're bringing honey? Can you bring honey?"
I have a couple of jars of it.
"I can carry them." Honey.
They're up there on the top shelf.
Just starts and goes, gets it down. It's literally like carrying it in arm, not even like, it's like, honey.
And Hestia gives Cosima and Marcus just kind of this look like, and grabs a bag. Would you mind carrying a bag, Marcus?
Oh, of course.
And then, oh, go ahead. Were you gonna say anything else?
No, sorry.
Oh, okay. She just picks it up and she like looks at the plate of half-eaten fish, and she like picks a little piece of it and like tosses it to the cat and says, "I hope you don't mind sailing."
And if anything, this cat moves quicker towards the door.
Xeraxes follows the cat with the honey.
Cosima will carry any kind of heavy supplies that are left. And I imagine she'll end up overtaking Xeraxes and maybe overtaking the cat, depending on how quick the cat decides to move once she gets to the front. And she'll lead the way down to the beach where her boat is pulled up from the high tide line, where she'd left it the day before.
Yeah, it's still there.
She pushes it over to the correct side up. Isn't sure everyone's gonna fit, but she's gonna figure that out later.
It's a tight squeeze, and you feel it's quite easy with this sort of wet sand on the beach as you can push it into the water. It's quite a wide boat, and Merritt jumps straight in and goes and sits on the helm, tail sort of flicking here and there, sort of swiping at the water.
Xeraxes, about like 20 feet from where the water starts, will start slowing down. They're still moving, but they're slowing down. And then they just start this high-pitched whine, like when you imitate a mosquito noise. They're still moving, but they're not happy. And they're just making this really high-pitched noise as they force themselves to walk towards the stupid, shiny, wet stuff.
Cosima physically looked pained at the sound and does her best to arrange the supplies underneath the benches that I guess we'll be sitting on. And she gives Merritt a compliment of being a fine figurehead for their vessel. Just, she's unwilling to deal with Xeraxes this morning. It's just too much.
And Hestia and Marcos, do you just hop in the boat, or?
Hestia would just kind of walk at a measured pace down to the boat and see Merritt hop in. She just kind of tosses her bag into the boat and takes a seat next to him.
Yeah, I think Marcus is ready to go. He just wants to get out of town at this point.
Yeah, if he gets caught, he's in so much trouble. And I'm assuming Cosima, the side you can just push this boat
Yeah,
out.
that's what she's intending, to push it, then hop on, and then start rowing.
Yeah, you row through this fairly calm water. There's a few waves sort of going up and down, but it's pretty calm. It's more near the shore that the waves start to pick up.
Yeah, once we kind of break out of that tide pull that you get close to the shore, it'll be easier.
And you travel for about an hour or so. You're rowing for about an hour when the port comes in sight, and you see some ships, proper ships, much bigger boats. There's some smaller ones, but to you, these are something maybe you've dreamed of at some point. And you see this looks to be purely a port, not necessarily a city or anything like this, but everyone here looks like they're in and out, trading, moving, carts are being loaded up. And you arrive at this busy place and you can pull up on the beach. Very much like where you ported before. And there are lots of people. You can hear shouting, yelling of people, get out the way, as people come on with huge terracotta sort of barrel type pots piled up to the top of these bright, colorful, very vibrant spices. And you can smell all of this. This is a delicious smell. And you see armfuls and sort of almost like big straw-like baskets of silks being carried off. And you see these pontoons with these ships. And you can hear people laughing, yelling, talking. It's a really busy, bustling place.
I think Cosima is busy sorting out the boat and disembarking all of our things and figuring out who's going to carry what. And she's kind of in like fisherwoman mode of, I have a job to do, we've got to get organized. And I think she is carrying the bulk of the goods, not wanting to bother Zyraxes with them. You're muted, Shay.
Oh, you're muted.
Come back to us.
Come back. Oh, still muted. But yeah,
Plus,
so
you know, Zyraxes is very busy with the honey.
yeah, collecting all this honey. There we go.
There we go.
There we go.
You sit there with all your honey.
Yeah. Zyraxes has pretty much been like clinging to whatever bench she's been on the whole way across, and at some point the wine kind of devolved into, you know, that noise the kid from The Grudge makes? Like clicking at the back of the throat. Yep, that's the one. Just so much distress. As soon as they are like grounded, they will just leap. Not touching the water at all, not going near that stuff, just leaping onto the sand and moving like a good 20 feet up the beach, and then just turning around and like crouching in the sand and just watching, like, hurry up already. Just like not going anywhere near the water again.
In one kind of token kind gesture, Constantine's gonna scoop up a few snakes that are like swimming around in the puddle at the bottom of the boat and return them to their owner.
Sort of slither along the sand and head straight towards Zyraxes.
Zyraxes kind of scoops them up. They return to the mass around their arms, and they kind of look at Cosima and tilt their head, and then kind of nod, but then just look away from the sea again. They don't even want to look at it. Just.
Yes, yeah, I'm afraid to remind them that we're gonna go to sea again shortly.
Oh, it's gonna be fun.
For a much longer time.
It's gonna be interesting.
If we're on a bigger boat, then maybe they won't have to see the water.
Go below deck and just stay there.
To be honest, they'd probably be happier like in the crow's nest, just as far away from the water as it is physically possible to get.
But yes, you will. You walk into this like port sort of thing. There's there's again, as I said, it's quite a busy place. You can see all these ships docked. You see people walking on and off of them. And you probably, like some people, watch it as you sort of move and weave in between these people. Your bag's knocking things probably as they go, Marcus, as you're carrying two.
Marcus is also just ultra distracted. Like, not only is he a clumsy person to start with, but he's also just like spinning around, looking at everything, probably touching stuff as it like goes by.
Yeah,
He's
you
just
touch some stuff and you feel like a slap of a hand as you go past on some of the things.
and he'll kind of be like, "Oh, sorry," and then still just like follow, like looking around at stuff. If no one's like directly taking him by the shoulders and like this way.
Hestia walks closer up to Cosima and says in kind of like a low voice, "You were saying something about an Obian?"
Yes, apparently we will hear him before we see him. He's apparently large, like my friend Alexei, but he is a man with a ship, and we are in need of one.
I am concerned about this labor that he'll require. Do we have the time for that?
We need a ship.
And you do hear a very loud bellowing laugh. Like think Brian Blessed level sort of laugh as you hear it. And you see a man, which would probably fit Alexei's description of this huge broad man, huge beard, and hair sort of tied back into like a ponytail type thing.
Is it hipster, Brian Blessed? Is that
Yeah,
what
go on then. It's hipster Brian Blessed. And you can
Oh, come on. Brian Blessed is a hipster. He believes in Yetis. He's definitely a hipster.
And you see this man barefooted in almost like ripped off sort of trousers, which definitely have been like just cut off, and a shirt as he stands there ordering people about. And you hear a man shout to him, "Obian! Where am I taking this?" And it's a laugh again as he just, you can see him shout some orders and almost push people in a certain direction.
I think as soon as Zyraxes hears that laugh, like, the head just snaps up and they will just start walking towards it. Not even thinking it's the person they're supposed to be looking for, just because it's laughter and they're just drawn to this massive noise. So they're just already walking away.
Seems just found our man.
Oh, shall we? And then she kind of gestures. And then she looks down at Merritt. Cat scarf.
Yeah, it's all that. Sort of jumps up on there again, sort of tucked into your hood.
Yeah, I like this visual of Hestia with her hood up, but then there's like a
There's
cat
a cat
curled
there.
under. Like sometimes underneath my hair, you just see like little eyes peek out.
Oh, it's so cute.
Yeah. Need a kitty like that now.
You can see him on this jetty, and he sees you coming because you are not the most normal looking band of people walking together. And he looks at you, and he sort of looks at Cosima first, sort of telling maybe you are a person of the sea. And you're after something?
Morning.
Good morning. Can I help you?
Alexei informed me that you have a ship, and we are in need of one.
Ah, Lexi, fantastic. Right. Did he tell you how I take payment?
He informed me there would be some kind of labor.
Yes. Everyone does their part on this ship. You'll cook, you'll clean, and I need people to help me off with these at the other end. And he gestures to these huge woven baskets of spices and silks and everything being piled up. And a lot of what looks like sort of breads and wine all piled up.
I'd be happy to help cook.
Fantastic.
Yes,
And other than you, Are any of you seafarers?
Zyraxes is stood about 6 inches from his face.
Yeah, and he's
Just stood to one side, just looming.
Yeah, he's like, oh. Is this your pet?
I'm told they're good luck.
Right.
Lies. Blatant lie.
Just massive, massive grin, and honestly, the breath is not the best. It's old blood, fish.
The gods
now.
send strange blessings.
Well, as a heads up, some crew members feel it is a bad omen to have women on board. I will put them very straight, just so you know. And he sort of gives you a really hearty slap on the back, Cosima, like you feel.
And if that doesn't work, we can always give them the introduction to the bad omen of being overboard.
Exactly. I like you. And he sort of is like, it's just like, that's exactly what my wife would do. And so you see him sort of head onto the ship.
Yeah. One moment, Obion.
Yes.
Would you show Obion the map? There is somewhere important we intend to travel to.
Right. And she's like rummaging in her bags. And just like
Come
pulls-
over here then. Like, and there's a table over by just before you get on the ship. So let down.
Okay, wait. And then she spreads it out.
And you see, this is a very badly drawn map.
A couple of snakes just drop onto the map.
Yeah, he's sort of
Because
brushed.
Zyraxes.
You
is
think
still
maybe
kind of
he's
just,
dealt with some
leaning.
stuff before, so he's brushed them off, not really even thinking about it.
Zyraxes picks
Oh.
them up.
So here, you want to go here? And he points at the huge landmass.
Yes.
Yes.
Well,
Right.
Actually, a little way off the coast of there.
There's nothing off the coast of there.
The gods inform us otherwise. There are many
What?
things in the sea. You know this, Obion.
Yes, there are many things in the sea. And he sort of like sounds slightly, trails off slightly about this. I will drop you off on the land. But if it's only this far out, I know a man who will take you here. I will not.
It is inconvenient, or you will not for another reason.
And he smiles slightly. He's like, I'm not normally, you know, us sea folk, we can be suspicious. No, thank you.
We've heard something of this spot of nothing.
Storms appearing out of nowhere, ships disappearing. Yes, I have. I will take you to the port of Egypt by Cairo, and that is where I will leave you for now.
We have an agreement.
We do. And he sort of, again, you get that another sort of like slap on the back, which you barely feel like you're used to this sort of thing. And he sort of sees Marcus and goes, you're here to learn, are you? And another slap. And Marcus, you almost fall off of this like platform as this, like, this is a heavy hand hitting you on the back and you're holding 2 bags. But he grabs you just before you do it and he rolls up the map and just thrusts it back into Hestia's arms. Right. All aboard then.
And the
he's-
high-pitched whine starts up again.
Yeah. And he looks at Zyraxes and it's just like, you keep those snakes out of my herbs and stuff, otherwise I'm throwing them all overboard.
They stay with me. You're a gift.
Well, I can throw you overboard as well.
Cosima tries not to laugh.
Zyraxes leans like right into Oberyn's face and just says dully, "My god has drowned more men than yours,
Oh.
just not in water." And
Is
there's that manic grin again.
And he looks at you and says, well, let me assure you, ours is much worse.
And there's just like the highest pitched, terrifying giggle that just comes out of their throat, just like. "Mm."
He's like, oh, good, we've got a mad one, and sort of steps onto on board, and everything starts to be loaded up, and the ship sets sail, sets off, and you cross the ocean until you slowly see the land disappear. And it's calm. This sun is hot, though. This is beating down on you. And Zyraxes, you're probably feeling slightly nervous right now.
Oh, yeah.
You have your eyes closed or something like that.
They've probably taken that little like strip of cloth that probably at one point used to be like a shawl to keep the sun off, and they have fully blindfolded themselves.
Just sat on the corner with a blindfold on.
They are probably like just basically next to the central mast because it's as far away from any water on any side that they can get, and they are just like sat in a small like hunched ball, their eyes completely covered, probably chewing on their hands again, and every so often there's just this bout of uncomfortable noises that range from the high-pitched whine to random barking noises to nasty foxes at night noises. It's just a cacophony of I don't want to be here.
And Marcus, what are you doing? This is your first time at sea, I imagine?
Yeah, Marcus is simultaneously very thrilled, just for the first hour. It's like that thing where he's just like so excited. And after that, he's just kind of like, oh, there's water everywhere, and maybe feeling a little sick.
Yeah, you're sort of like running around in excitement, and Merritt is sort of doing laps with you, like as you run around this boat, but at the same time, you feel every time you stop, you feel that rock of the ocean, you feel it, and you just think, no. What about Hestia?
At first, actually, I was going to say that Hestia was playing with Merritt, but I think, she keeps trying to, inch closer to Zyraxes, because she is just convinced that she needs to be able to, talk with this person. She'll be like, how are you doing? And she kind of just keeps inching.
The head jerks up, still wrapped in this linen strip that's just completely covering their eyes, and it looks like it's slightly too tight, the skin above and below is going red, but their head just jerks up and towards the source of the sound. Just go, bad, very bad, keeps moving. Why is it moving? It shouldn't move, it's not alive. And the head drops back down.
Doesn't the wind move and that's not alive?
I don't have to walk on the wind.
Would you like some honey?
And the head slow. And you can almost see nostrils flaring, just if they got honey on them. And they just kind of slightly lean. You have honey? I like honey.
Takes out a little jar, and she has a little eating utensil, and she's like, I'm going to put it near your mouth. And she lifts her hand.
Zyraxes' head kind of twitches back, and a hand just comes up right in front of their face, just
Do you want me to set it there?
Don't touch.
I won't touch. And then she just kind of pours a little honey into the hand.
And then they are just aggressively licking their hand. It is again like toddlers with jam on their hand, just aggressively licking every inch of their hand to get all of it. Probably with uncomfortable happy noises, the way kids don't really understand that it's weird that they are enjoying their food so much, but just licking the whole of their hand.
And she'll just kind of keep feeding her honey, or feeding Zyraxes honey every once in a while, but then kind of keeping an eye on where Merritt is, and just kind of giggling, watching the scene of Marcus and Merritt running around.
Weirdly enough, the honey does actually seem to make them like calm down a little, or at least they stop being like this tense pretzel and are then just a pretzel. They are so focused on the honey that everything else has kind of turned to white noise at that point, so they're a bit less abjectly terrified.
What about Cosima? What is Cosima doing? You're back on this boat again. You're back on the sea again.
Cosima is actually working. She's, managing whatever rigging needs to be done. She's just mucking in with the crew, keeping busy. Occasionally, she'll glance to her party. I'm gonna go with that word. And just make sure none of them are falling overboard, none of them are being violently sick. But mostly she's just working really hard. She's in her element and just getting on with the labor.
Yeah, this has been a couple of hours now. Like you are way out in the ocean. You can't see any land anymore. And in fact, you've been traveling for about half a day. And Cosima, as you're doing the rigging, you're sorting out the ropes. Could you roll me an intellect, please?
Ooh, I sure can. She says, trying to find roll 20. And it this way, /roll.
Okay.
Oh,
So,
that's a good roll.
you look over the side of this boat, and you look at the waves lapping up against the wood. You can see some limpets on the bottom, and then this darkness looms underneath. Almost like a shadow. You catch it for just a second. A huge shadow passes underneath the ship. And you sort of look up at the sky, thinking, is that a cloud passing over the sun? But this is moving fluidly, and you've never seen something this big before.
I climb down quickly from the rigging and rush to the other side of the ship to see if I can catch the shadow moving out the other side.
You run the other side, and just for that second, something dips out of the wave and dives back under again. And as you do this, you feel something knock the boat. You all feel something knock this boat.
I grip onto the side of the ship. I think Cosima would know what a whale is. So I think she's gonna assume this is a whale.
Could you roll an intellect for me, please?
Yes, I sure can. A 13.
Ooh.
So it's a level 4.
Yeah.
Nice.
You look at this, and as it crests just above this wave, you can't help but look at it and look at how big this shape is. And you suddenly realize you are seeing just the tip of this creature. This is not a whale. This is not a whale at all. There is no fin. There is nothing as it dives under again. And you can see Obion he's like, whoa, as the boat goes, and he's just and he looks slightly confused. And the rest of you will feel this. You feel this huge knock and the creak of this boat as it moves.
Despite being certain it's not a whale, she'll let out the cry that's a whale so that they can at least ready themselves and steer a course away from the danger. You can
see Obion really trying to take control of this ship as it dives again. And you see almost a narrow part of this creature, whatever it is, and another, and another, and another, and almost what looks like spines start erupting from the water as this head of this almost snake-like creature starts coming up out of the water. You hear Obion cry out and yell as this thing opens its mouth with these huge, almost nail-like teeth, and it's like this screeching hiss of this water that just erupts and sort of showers you as it towers over the boat. And then another head appears, and another, and another, until about 5 or 6 of these huge snake-like creatures weave upwards. What are you all doing?
I believe Cosima for half up would be yelling for Marcus, Xyraxes, and Hestia to get below deck.
You hear Merritt just rear up and hiss at this creature, this hydra that has appeared from the ocean. Their eyes are yellow and they're piercing. They've got gills running all the way down each of the necks, the spines almost like a mane around them, running down back as they turn to look at you.
So,
Go ahead.
no, you go. It's okay.
Hestia was just going to scream immediately, like, Merritt, to me!
And it
And
will
then-
sprint towards you.
And then she looks at Cosma. I don't think below deck is going to help us.
Xyraxes would have removed their blindfold and would just be stood on the decks, like staring up at the Hydra.
Much harder to be thrown overboard if you're under.
Can't this thing easily break the boat? Shouldn't we fight it?
And Obion yells out. You're not too sure what it is, but it's this absolute cry of panic as this neck of this creature comes slamming down into the center of this ship, and you hear an absolute splinter of wood, a crash. The mast sort of starts to shake and wobble. I need you all to make me a strength roll, please.
Oh no.
I should have said that Cosima was tying herself off sooner. 11. Can I use a reroll, please?
Yes, of course you can.
Yeah, I'm definitely
Nine.
using it because I got a 1.
Oh, 9. 11's as good as it gets. Which is the same, so 3.
Yeah. 3.
Yep.
Is that everyone? What did you get?
I got a 3.
A 3. Okay. One head comes crashing down, just narrowly missing Cosima. Okay, can we clip that? Cosima, you almost have to just throw yourself out of the way. You push yourself away from the mast. As this splinter of wood, you feel it all sort of hit you from one side, splitting you off from Marcus, the other side, as this more of this wood comes flying. Hestia, you stand near Xyraxes, who's further in front of the boat, where Meryl has come running towards you, when another one of these necks comes crashing down, hitting. You see Obion, who's thrown to one side of the boat before yelling up more orders, which you just cannot hear. They're almost inaudible. But he jumps back up and runs straight to the helm. What are you all doing? As you hear this eruption, so it's almost like a strange mix of a scream and a roar that erupts from all of these creatures' throats.
Is there anyone near me on my side of the ship?
Sorry?
Is there anyone near me, like on my side of the ship?
No, they've all sort of run towards the mast.
Okay.
Xyraxes is gonna scream back.
Yeah, they both scream at each other.
Is the part of the creature still in front of me?
Oh yes.
Okay, within like.
Yeah,
I could,
it's
like,
laying. It's almost like it's effectively now laying across this boat where it started to crash. And Cosima and Hestia, you will both see as you feel that dip in the ocean as this heavy weight hits you, and the water you can see where it's crashed through has started to leak in on one of the lower levels. Good luck, Praxis.
Kind of instinctively, you see Hestia kind of look down at her hands as they both start to crackle with electricity, and she just reaches out and touches the creature to get it away. And
yeah, roll for me, please.
I don't know how to do this system.
All right, but I tell you, roll a straight up intellect for me now, and I will subtract from the thing because you've got the ability, and then we'll go into the other bits.
So I got a 5.
Mm-hmm.
And then you want just a roll?
Yeah, let's have a look. What's your character sheet?
Oh, I just have it up on.
Oh, okay, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, roll an intellect for me then as well, please.
That's a 3.
That's 3. Okay. So as you do this, you sort of describe to me how you're effectively shocking this creature. You've got this huge, almost like neck that is currently laying beside you, and you've got all these spines that you can see sort of flickering in the wind.
You just see like the power kind of like it starts just as like a little sizzle, and then as she like kind of gets up the courage, she starts channeling it, and then she just like places both hands on the creature, and you just see this huge shock of electricity come out, and then it says that I inflict 3 points of damage.
3 points of damage. Okay. And as you do this, the rest of you will just see Hestia lay her hands as this electricity sort of shoots, almost like a sheet of it, up and down this creature. And you hear it scream. You almost have to put your hands over your ears as this deafening scream, and it lurches. You feel the boat tip and almost completely turn up on its side. I need you to all make me a strength check, please, to hold on.
Okay.
I would like to use some of my pool.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I'm gonna use 4 points.
4 points, yeah.
I have an edge of 1. Does that make any
Yeah,
difference?
that's one. Yeah, that's one more.
Okay.
That's one more on top of that as well. So let's have a look. You are all thrown. In fact, Cosima, you are launched across the side of the ship. You were trying to get to
Basically,
a
like
more
wrap my
stable.
wrist. Like,
Yeah, you were trying to get to a more stable point when you were not expecting the ship to be hit again and flung. You don't fall over. You don't like fall off or anything. You manage to grab yourself as you find a net across the side and to almost sort of secure yourself in. Zoraxes, you are staring down this creature and you sort of fall, but you don't. You sort of fall and you slide down to the other end of this ship, stopping yourself as this creature's head looms over you. And Hestia, it's almost as if you feel Merritt's claws sort of digging into you, almost like a warning. And that bit of that electricity almost throws you back a little bit, combined, just as another net comes crashing down onto this boat. And Marcus, you were holding onto the top before it started to tip, so you are effectively looking down now onto where Cosima and Hestia and Zoraxes are. This creature rises up once more as Obion tries to struggle to get hold of this ship. And with that static electricity, it's caked in water. And you see it sort of, this creature screaming, it almost flailing as this head sort of falls back into the water, crashing into the side of the boat once more. And Marcus, you feel your grip loosen. You fall. And the rest of you see Marcus disappear beneath the waves, underneath this creature. And that is where we will leave the episode this week.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
Poseidon, you're meant to be on our team.
Hey, this isn't Poseidon. But, yes.
Oh my goodness.
So, that's alright, we're going to go round. We are going to say hi to everyone, say where we can find you, and what your favourite bit is. Plug yourself as well. We will go in reverse order this time, and we're going to head over first to Hestia. So how are you feeling about this right now?
Oh. I don't know. Hestia is still kind of shocked at what she can do with electricity, but
No pun intended.
I think for me the best part of the whole session was just like all of the little nuances of our characters interacting with each other, pouring honey into Zaraxi's hand. Like that's the first time I think that Hestia's ever been able to like comfort Zaraxis in any form, so that was fun. But as for me, you can find me on Twitter. I'm at Furore_DND, and this is the only stream that I appear in. Otherwise, I DM a host of games that I'll post pictures about randomly.
Awesome, thank you. And then we're gonna hop over to Cosima. Hello, Charlie.
Hello. Well, this is fun. Didn't imagine a better crew. Even if Cosima doesn't necessarily agree. This is a lot of fun. I really like the Cypher system and how it really just encourages you to keep role playing. But here we are. We're in a combat scenario right now, or at least a dangerous scenario. Not sure how much fighting we're really gonna get. Definitely outclassed right now. But this is a lot of fun. I'm at Frost and Fire on Twitter. No O in the from. I'm in a whole bevy of games all over the place. Tomorrow night, I believe we're playing Invincible Sun over on the Tales from the Grim of the Grim. Grimjack's rebranded, but
yeah,
Greg's channel. Tomorrow night, pretty late. I think it's either 8 or 9 p.m. Eastern. I can't remember. But the only other big thing that I want to plug, other than you should be here checking out all the games, is if you're free on a Sunday at around 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm starting a brand new game called The Lost Girls, which is Cypher System based, so like same system as this game, over on WebDM. And it's got an amazing cast, and we've been working on this game for like 3 or 4 months now, and I'm very excited to get going on the 27th. So yes, please come and check that out.
Awesome. I'm a massive lover of the Cypher system. I think it could be my favorite. But yeah, no, definitely go to it. And there'll definitely be fighting next week. I'm promising you that as soon as we get started. So yeah. We are now going to hop around to the lovely Zaraxis.
No. So I'm Shakespeare, and you can find me on Twitter at Shakespeare. I don't appear in any more campaigns, but I'm doing a couple of one-shots coming up. The next one is actually before this stream next week, where I'll be playing a game of Bluebeard's Bride, which is just going to be so awesome because it's no horror, which terrifies me and excites me. But and I think my favourite bit of today's game was simply mainly the interactions with everyone and figuring out how Zyraxes sees everyone, because they tend to put people like very clearly in boxes in their heads. And so it's really interesting to be like, okay, so that's what you are, that's what you are, that's what you are. And seeing how the interactions are slowly like making the boxes bigger or smaller or changing them. I also really like the fact that I kind of came up with Zyraxes not liking water fairly early on in character creation, just as a thing. I was like, well, they don't like shiny things. Water is shiny. Well, yeah. And I didn't realize it was going to be such a huge thing. And now it's kind of like, because I'm having to react so very quickly to them interacting with water, it's very off the cuff, which is interesting. I didn't realize they were going to be this verbal. There's a lot of noises happening, which I can't replicate, but there's a lot of noises. So that's just been really, really fun to kind of play and spin. It's something I didn't think very deeply about.
Yeah, so she's like, oh, I don't like water, and I'm gonna put you on a boat.
Yep. So they have been on boats before, but it was like short trips and everyone just kind of left them alone. They didn't have to do anything. It was just like, you're on the boat, you're off the boat, that's it. You don't have to get on one again. Except...
But thank you, Example Daniel, who has just subbed, so thank you very much. But last but certainly not least, poor sweet innocent Marcus, who has done a lot today, I think. Like, it's just snuck out from home and now disappeared beneath the waves. So
yeah. So yeah, I'm Meg. You can find me at Pishkeenvan on Twitter, and I also, this is the only stream that I do during the week. I'm in a couple real life campaigns that I write about on my blog at elfnotes.com, so that's also a thing. And I'd say probably my favorite thing about this session, no, it was so, first of all, I love the way that our party dynamics are kind of starting to settle in. Like, people in the chat were talking about Hestia and Kazuma being kind of like the of the group, and I love that. And yeah, so I love that, and I also loved being able to roleplay Marcus with his dad, and I feel like that kind of helped me get a little more handle on his actual personality and roleplay stuff. So that was fun.
I'm glad. This is going to be, it's already good fun, but I can see where it's going to develop, and I think it's going to be really, really awesome. So, me, I am White Rabbit Pick. You can find me there on Twitter. I DM for this channel. I DM the Eberron, the Dragon Age, and this Tales of the Ancient Cypher System, so I'm obsessed with Cypher System. I'm also in many of the games. I'm also in Tales from the Grim in 2 upcoming campaigns. One Cypher System based on Highlander, where I will be playing a Celt that has not died. So, and yeah, I can't give away too much of my character on that one. But also I will be playing Lady Blackbird with some really awesome people over there, DM'd by the wonderful, that's Ginger, who you see in my Eberron game, which is going to be so good. And yeah, so our Discord. Oh, first of all, we're going to raid Aris Savad, who makes some seriously awesome dice bags, seriously awesome dice trays, one which I may have just got, so I'm super happy about that. I've got my first ever dice bag ready for Gen Con. Yeah, we're going to go head over there and show her some love. So, first of all, Discord. You should be there. You should be in it. You should talk to all these amazing people. It's full of wonderful people. Also, Twitter. If you want to get into one of these games, drop Scrat a DM on Twitter. If you like this system, one of our viewer games is Cypher System. So definitely head over there and learn to play it. It's so much fun. We also have Ryutama, and hang on, and D&D, 5e, just all of it, all the shenanigans, it's all there. Also, YouTube. This will be up on YouTube very, very soon. Patreon, if you would like to support us, please head over to Patreon. There's also, even if it's not supporting monetarily, it's lovely to see like the shares and the love that's being spread by chat. Like, chat, you're awesome. We absolutely adore you. So thank you, because you're the reason we can tell these stories. We have some merch via Redbubble. And our sponsors are Bird in the Storm is the first one, which is our very own wonderful tool school, and also Bird versus Plane, which we're working on some awesome stuff with. And last but not least, Mage Hand Press. Now, after this, the campaign next up is using Mage Hand Press, and it's our completely legitimate business, run by Laugh Love Lindy. It's got an awesome cast. And stick around, because we're going to play the video for that campaign. So, other than that, guys, we'll see you later. See you in an hour for completely legitimate business even. Keep evoking emotions, and we'll see you then. Bye.